Hello, good afternoon. I'm going to wait for some of my friends. It's taking me some time to pull myself up and out today. I've spent a lot of time in stillness. I feel like stillness is very important. So, stillness means solitude, meditation. For me, it's all those things. I know who that is. That's Lisa. I see your picture. Just barely with these little eyes of mine. So as I said, it's taking me some time. I'm not at my usual time. I don't think I have a usual time anymore anyway. I just pop in when it feels right. So hello. How are you today? I'm in a lot of stillness today. So if I seem like I'm in outer space, I'm really spending a lot of time trying to unload the baggage. That's a good way to put it. There's so much baggage. We take on, I've got a lot of kids. I have lost count how many kids I've got. I haven't really, I have 6. And there's 3 more that I check in on that are Steve's, who one of them now has a new grandbaby, so make that 4. So there's a lot of people. We all have a lot of people that we care about, right? We have a lot of physical connections that we feel that we need to stay in touch with, that oftentimes we feel like we need to try to pick up their baggage. Hi, Michael. We try to pick up their baggage and carry it with us too. So I know for me as an empath, that's me. And I've been like this forever. Always the little grown-up, always trying to take care of everyone else, always trying to be the people pleaser. And so that's where I am today, is people pleaser versus empath, versus, because an empath is not necessarily a people pleaser. A people pleaser is not necessarily an empath. Let that sink in for a second. We, from our trauma, from our childhood trauma, we learn to be people pleasers. From even adult trauma, we learn to try to, I know for me, I was in an abusive marriage for 20 years. So not only did I learn how to be a people pleaser as a child, I learned how to be a people pleaser as an adult, to keep myself out of the chaos and the misery. I learned to just say yes. And it calculated all the way down to, it really affected my choice for the person that I married. I knew better. There's a part of me that really knew that I was not supposed to be with him. I knew right away, first time we ever went out, first time we spoke, that he wasn't right for me. You know, he wasn't very nice. He wasn't a nice guy at all. But for whatever reason, I felt like that's what I deserved. And I started trying to please him. I started trying to be what he needed me to be. And since that relationship, I've had other relationships. I know that I did it with Steve, but Steve was just as much trying to make me happy as I was trying to make him happy. So there was more of a balance between us. He was so good at just loving me. He's the one in my life that has not required me to try to be someone other than myself, which was the coolest thing ever. But so many times in our relationships, and I really want you to hear me, and I'm trying to take this slow because I feel like somebody is going to show up today to hear this message. If you're not already here, you will be, or you'll listen to it later on. There is a difference between, hi Lauren Riley, there's a huge difference between being a people pleaser and being an empath, and I'm going to keep repeating that. Being an empath means that we go through life, we feel the energies that are around us, from the plants, from the trees, from the rocks, from every object that we bring into our homes, from the animals to every human being. And when someone around us is not feeling well, I know you haven't been here for a while. It's good that you popped in today, Lauren. Maybe there's a reason. So when we're in that place of from trauma, and we're trying to just please people, we're not necessarily using empathy for that. We're actually using fear. There's a difference. When we're empaths, we do it naturally. Our bodies, our intuition just reaches out. There's not a forced movement in it. There's no like, oh, I've got to try to fix this person. I've got to try to help this person. There's no desperation. There's only this natural shift into your giftedness, into your ability. Your energy does the work. Your energy guides you when you tune in. You'll be walking down a street and suddenly you feel that energy hit your heart and you're like, okay, somebody needs some love right now. And without even knowing who it is, oftentimes we don't know who it is. Our bodies are just filters and it just channels through us to wherever it needs to go. There's no thought processes. There's no need to try to do. Do is a big thing for me right now. There's no need to try to do. There's no need to act on anything. There's no need to react. There is only this natural ability that comes forth from us, that goes into action. And sometimes then we are pushed into a physical reaction from that energy. Sometimes it's like, okay, wait, stop. Somebody needs me. I feel it. And like a superhero, you know when you've got to throw on the cape and go into the fire or whatever it is. That's not what I'm talking about. The people pleaser part of you comes out of trauma. The people pleaser part of you has a different reason for doing what it does. That's the part of you that's afraid of loss. It's the part of you that's afraid that if you say something, do something, don't do something, see, the fear is there. If I don't say this to this person, they might go away. If I don't say this to this person, they might have an angry outburst. If I do say this to this person, they might get angry with me. That's the difference. Can you feel that really, really distinct difference in being the people pleaser and being the empath? The empath just knows. The empath doesn't operate in fear. That part of you does not come from fear. It comes from that innate ability to feel the energy of other people. It's actually one of the most beautiful, it's a very difficult path that we've chosen. And it's also so incredibly beautiful because you just know. You just know when someone needs you. When you're in a relationship, you just know what they need. When Steve was very, very sick, he didn't want anyone else taking care of him because I just instinctively, when I tune into that part of me, that empathic part of me, I just know. I just knew what he needed. I knew how to make him comfortable to the best of my ability. There was ways that I just seemed to understand where his pain was. I could feel it. And I knew how to create a space for him where he wasn't hurting as much. That's the empathic part. And there was also the very, very people pleaser part of me that sometimes mixed into it and just wanted to control the situation and wanted to hold on to him and wanted to keep him here because of my fear of loss. I would fall into that sometimes because of my guilt, feeling somehow that I was guilty for him being so sick. That's the people pleaser. That's the very egoic part of me that operates from fear. There's a shift. And it's very important. I'm going to continue to teach on this. It's very important for us to recognize that shift of energy. There's that part of me that when I sit down in this chair to come and sit down in front of a camera and let people hear what I have to say, there's a very egoic part of me that will sit here and argue and say, you're not good enough. You don't have anything to say. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. There's that side of me. And then there's a side of me that when I sit here for a few minutes, and I just allow myself to get into stillness. And I tune in. My energy shifts. And I suddenly become somebody that I haven't even fully become comfortable. Well, comfortable is not the word. Sometimes I'll watch these, I'll play them back, and I'm like, who is that person? Because we are so programmed to be what everyone has taught us to be. They focus on our shortcomings, our failures, our disabilities, our whatever. Other people around us, they tend to focus on those things that appear to be weakness for whatever reason. And they teach us that we're mirrors to them from the time we're little children. And so we begin to, hi Rebecca, we begin to focus on our shortcomings and our failures and our weaknesses because they're seeing it, so we're seeing it too. There's a different mirror. There's a very different mirror that I'd like you to become accustomed to. I'd love for you to work, if you haven't already become more aware of that shift of your energy from that very needy people pleaser to the empath, from that very egoic self to the higher self. It's time. It's time, because we're in a very desperate place here on the earth right now. The energy alone of what you are bringing into the world, your energy alone, your ability to raise the vibration on the planet through laughing, through smiling, through loving other people, through loving yourself, through coming into closer contact, better understanding of your true self, that part of you is absolutely needed. Your superhero part of you. It's like Clark Kent over to Superman. It's like, who was it? Wonder Woman. Sometimes, she's walking down the street and she looks completely normal. She fits right in with society, and suddenly, boom, she gets that energy, and she completely transforms. That's who you are. And that's who all of us, we're all like that. We all have that side of us that's very small, that is so accustomed to looking in the mirror of our faults and our weaknesses. And we haven't learned to look at ourselves differently yet. We haven't learned to put away all of those lies. They are lies. You have been taught incorrectly. And it wasn't like the people around you meant to teach you incorrectly. Most of them didn't. They had the same filter that you do. And so they pass that filter onto you. So when you look at yourself, you see all of your faults. You see your weaknesses. And I don't know why we created that energy in the first place. I get a sense that it was just our need to learn about lower vibrations. And in order for us to come to a very heavy, dense planet and learn about a lower vibration, we had to set some rules, right? And the rules are that all the angels are around us all the time, and they want to tell us how awesome we are, and they want to remind us of our own power, but they can't. Not until we look for them. And the angels come in physical form oftentimes, so that they can help support, so that they can be there for you. You'll know it when you meet one. You'll see it in their face. Right at the right moment, they say something that you need to hear. Sometimes we work as channelers, and we learn to put ourselves in that higher vibration, so that the angels can then come in and say, okay, I've got a message to share, and I'm going to use your body. I'm going to use your voice. That's what I started teaching a long time ago, the voice of the spirit. It is opening yourself up, allowing yourself to get in that place of the higher self enough, learning how to make that shift into the higher self, so that when you get there, the angels, you get yourself up to that vibration where you're right there in the same space with the angels, with those loved ones that you miss so much. You're right there. You're raising your vibration, and it feels so good, and you get right up here and right here. In my desperation to find Steve, I was like, oh, I got to get up higher, higher, higher. And as I left the pain and the guilt and the shame and blame behind, my energy just came up, 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 up. I could see it like a meter rising. And when I got to a certain place, I greeted him there, and he greeted me. We met in the middle. And you can do the same thing. And so many of you are already practicing that. And you're already starting to feel that difference in who you are. And that's what I want to remind you of today. If you've forgotten that, if you're on that hamster wheel again and you're running around in circles, and you haven't figured out how to get off, you are the one that's making that wheel spin. You're the one that is making it spin. The hamsters, they get going so fast, sometimes they're just like, their bodies just can't even keep up. You ever notice that? Sometimes they come flying out the other side. It's kind of comical, honestly. But that's what we do too. We're on the hamster wheel all the time, and we're going, and we're going, and we're going. And we forget that at any point we can slow down the pace, and we can come to a stop, and we can just be. We're just allowed to just be the hamster for a while. We don't have to be on the wheel. We get to just be the hamster. And so, on a grander scale, imagine that you have been walking the earth trying to be the people pleaser, trying to make everybody else happy, trying to not rock any boats, not, make anybody feel uncomfortable at all. Good gosh, we don't want to make anybody else feel uncomfortable. My whole life has been like that. Like, if I have somebody over to my house, in a house that I feel perfectly comfortable in, and I'm just like, this, it's great, it's fine. And sometimes it's cluttered, and sometimes there's a few dirty dishes, and sometimes there's some dust bunnies, especially with that collie in the house. But I'm okay. I'm good. I'm comfortable here. But if somebody says, I'm going to come into your house, or they drop in, and I'm like, oh gosh, make sure, you guys, I turn into that, who is that? This guy that plays a woman, and it's so funny, because the kids call me that all the time, and I can't think of their name. It'll come to me. It'll come to me because it's really hilarious. But I turn into this person that goes crazy. Oh, somebody's coming to the house. You know, like we got to make sure that all the dust bunnies are gone. No dog hair anywhere. We have clean all the furniture, vacuum all the furniture, underneath the furniture. Let's move all the furniture. Let's move out the refrigerator. Let's look under the refrigerator. Let's make sure you vacuum out the light fixtures. You know, they might see dust or maybe a dead fly or something. You know, you just never know. How many of us are like that? We get insane. We get crazy. That person isn't coming. If they really, really love me, they're not coming to see if I have a dust bunny under the couch. They're coming to spend time with me. And I need you to hear that too. We aren't here to be perfect for everyone. We're here to be present. And when we spend all of our time worrying about the dust bunnies and worrying about that, I can be like, nope, I'm sorry, nobody can come here because I got kids, you know, like I had kids for a long time. And, you know, I always think, well, they might focus on this or they might focus on that or whatever. And it's like, oh gosh, when do we get off the hamster wheel? When do we allow ourselves to just relax? Geraldine came over here about a year ago. It's been over a year ago, right around a year ago. And I remember when she was coming, I was like, oh, I gotta make sure that the house is all clean. I gotta create a space for her. You know, like I've always been so into, let's make them comfortable. I need her to have her own space. You know, we're gonna set up this room out here. She sleeps in a recliner. I want to make sure, and there's gotta be this, you know, great fans, and everything's gotta be all fresh and, you know, whatever. And then she came, and she was the most easygoing person on the planet, and perfectly comfortable in that big recliner that I worried that maybe it tipped over to the right side just a little bit or whatever. I drove myself crazy. And really, she was here to see me. And she was here to spend time with me. And she was here to walk through the mountains. And so I'm only telling you these things because the people that really matter, they aren't looking at your imperfections. They aren't looking to see if you've got some little creases around your eyes right here from you smiling too much. They're not looking to see those imperfections. They're just here because they feel a connection and because they want to spend more time with you. And so I'm not sure why we got into all the house cleaning stuff. Gail Waters, that's what it is. Sorry, it just, things come back to, they come to me. It's really, Gail Waters is a guy that pretends to be a girl on YouTube that has this thing called Company's Coming. And if you want to get a good laugh, and my kids have oftentimes compared me to Gail Waters. So I just want, that's where that came from. A little plug for Gail Waters today. It is really funny. It does make me laugh a lot. So, but when you watch that kind of thing, it's very, very blown out of proportion. And it absolutely cracks me up and reminds me of how silly I'm being. We are in a time right now. The angels, your guides, they want you to know something really, really important. And this is the most important thing that I'm going to say today. The most important thing that you can do is to get off your hamster wheel and to be in stillness, because stillness brings you to a place of being able to create. We don't get busy. You know, like we've been taught that we've got to be busy. You got to follow these steps. You got to do what society says. And maybe someday you're going to have that car that you want so much, and you're going to have that house, and you're going to have those 2.5 kids, and and if you live long enough, you're going to be able to maybe retire. You know, if you're still healthy enough and strong enough at the age of 65, maybe you can retire, and then maybe you'll get a big motorhome, and you'll travel, and you'll finally do all the things that you want to do while you're on the planet. It's so silly. It is so silly, I'm sorry, but it is the silliest bunch of nonsense that we have created on this planet. And your guides and angels are trying to tell you to knock it off. You do not create from your busyness. You create from your stillness. The life that you are manifesting does not come from being super busy. You can get that college degree if that's what gives you joy, of course. Go for it. It gives you joy. It makes you feel your purpose. It's exactly what you always wanted to do. It fills your heart with joy. Then by all means, the most important thing, if you want to work at McDonald's and you find your joy at flipping burgers, then do that. Do what makes you feel good. It's okay to do those things that give you joy. Do those things. But that, what I'm talking about is that busyness, where we're like, we gotta look and search and try to find our purpose in life. We're just busy, going, thinking that somehow if we keep running on that hamster wheel, we're gonna walk our way right into that purpose that we came here for. Run our way. And actually we get thrown out the other side because we're just running around in a circle so fast. And oftentimes we're like, okay, I just know that's my purpose. It's got to be my purpose. I mean, my father was a doctor, my grandfather was a doctor, or whatever. I got to be a doctor. That's my purpose in life. And you do everything. You try to cross all those T's and dot all those I's, and you're doing everything. And suddenly you wake up one day and you go, what am I doing? I'm so miserable. I'm not even, this is what I thought I came to the planet to do, and I'm so unhappy. There's no joy here. And at that point, and I think everybody has that reckoning at some point, something changes, the death of a spouse, or you might lose a child, or God forbid, you might have an accident, you might get injured, you might have a serious something happen, some illness or whatever, or you just suddenly wake up and go, I'm just not happy. Depression, mental illness, things like that pop up. And they're not here to punish us, and they're not here to traumatize us. They actually come in, those moments of awakening, those moments of stop everything, get off the hamster wheel. What am I really supposed to be here for? And here's what you're here for. Hi, Tammy. Here's what you're here for. You're here to find your bliss. You're here to bring a higher vibration to the planet. You're here to reconnect with the truth of who you are, so that you can help others to reconnect with the truth of who they are. And you do that through your stillness. And the rest of it is icing on the cake. That's what's so beautiful, is we don't have to be so busy trying to get, be what, like, say that your next door neighbor has, keep up with the Joneses. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have that nicer car, that really expensive Lamborghini. It might be fun, but you don't really have to have that to find worth. And you don't really have to own your own house, and you sure don't need to own a mansion on a mountain. Now, if you really choose to manifest that, there's no reason why you can't have it. If that person can have it, you can have it too, because we're all equal as far as our abilities to create on the planet. We just have forgotten our equality in that. So it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having. Please don't think I'm judging people that have great wealth. But we find our bliss in our stillness. And when we find our bliss in our stillness, then the other follows. You see what I'm saying? It's not busy to create it. It is stillness. And in that stillness, where we find our joy and we find our bliss and we find this just unbelievable energy. It's beautiful, beautiful. And we suddenly rediscover who we are. We feel it. We're like, oh, there I am. It is the most beautiful thing. When you find yourself, your true self, it's not you. It's not that person you're looking at the mirror at. I'm sorry, it's not. You're in there. You got this facade around you, and it's okay to do what you choose. But you are more than that. So much more than that. And you've been on this earth for so long, and you've forgotten, you just forgot who you are. You just forgot. And I do it all the time. It's not an insult. I do it all the time. I get so busy in life. I'm always thinking about this person or thinking about that person. What if I hurt their feelings? What if they don't like me? What if? That's all. It's folly. It's really a waste of my energy. My energy should be on, let me be still. Let me get to know me better. Let me begin to feel that connection that I have to my true self. Let me then really listen in stillness to the answers that are just right there available to me. Let me find that bliss. Let me find that joy. And there is so much in that moment when you get to there. There's so much. It absolutely fills that space inside of you with this love that you're like, oh gosh, what is this? You sit there and you go, I've never experienced this before. It doesn't matter how many times I've fallen in love, even to the point of every time I have 6 babies, and every time I held them in my arms for the first time, I absolutely fell in love with that person I was holding, and I thought, what a miracle. And this joy, this love, this bliss that's inside of me that newborn, as much as I thought that was the most amazing experience that could ever happen to me, that moment of finding that part of me right in my center, that takes my breath away. Absolutely, more than anything ever has or ever will. It's greater than falling in love. Falling in love is great, and it can't even come close to you finding your truth, to finding who you really are. Are you hearing me? That's our goal. That's why you're here. To reconnect with your truth, to reconnect with you, to fall in love with you. Be in love with you. And the other stuff comes in. Because once you learn how to really be in love with you, then the relationships that you draw into yourself, when you find that person who is your equal match, they will know how to really be in love with them. And when they do, and when you do, and the two of you end up coming into the same space with each other, holy mama, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it, and that includes your friendships. You know those people. You know the ones that can really find their true selves. They might falter. We all falter. We all forget. But in those moments of just pure connection that you have with them, you know that they're finding that joy, that bliss that's inside of them. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can see it on their faces. And that is the very reason, purpose that we are here on the planet right now. That moment of pure connection with other souls on the planet who are fully awake, who know why they're here. And we are here then to feel the connection between us, to work together in stillness so that that sense of connectivity fills the space and it pops right out and it just comes out into the world and it sprinkles down on all those little sleeping people that are still so stuck in 3D, that are still running on the hamster wheels, all those silly little people down there. It sprinkles down on them, and as it sprinkles down on them, they go, what's that? And all of a sudden they realize that they can get off the hamster wheel too. And imagine a world where every single human that's on the planet suddenly gets off the hamster wheel and remembers who they are. How beautiful would that day be? Because I love the feeling of getting off the hamster wheel. I love it more than anything. I really do, because that's as close to heaven as you're going to get while you're still in physical form. And imagine being able to share that feeling with other people too. It's that feeling of absolute and complete and total bliss where the rest of it really just doesn't matter anymore. When you let go and you stop thinking about having to have those things to make you happy, the flip side of that is they just come to you. Like, we actually, in our efforts to try to get those things that we think we've got to have, we're actually pushing them completely away from ourselves. And when we stop and we just sit there, like the butterfly, it comes and lands on our shoulder and says, I'm right here. I'm so glad you stopped pushing me away. So I hope you're hearing me today, somebody. You would love to go get a Lamborghini, Lisa. Wouldn't we all? I would like to drive one, maybe. I'm not sure I want to own one. I just got a little Kia Soul, and I'm as happy as a clam in that little car. I don't need the Lamborghini. I just need something to get me safely and as efficiently as I can allow, or I can get myself efficient on gas, so I leave a smaller carbon footprint. And I just need it to get me from point A to point B. That's all I need. The Lamborghinis are cool, and someday I might like to take a ride in one just for the experience of it, but I don't really need one. I don't need a lot of things, because I find that when I get into that bliss, that's what I want. What I seek in life is to find that love again, that just unbelievable sense of beingness. You know, that part of us, it's all encompassing. It doesn't need anything anymore. It just finds joy in everything, you know, and that's what we really long for. We'll find a taste of it. You know, that feeling on Christmas morning that, oh, you've been waiting for it. You're a child and you've been waiting for that one thing for so long, and you just know it's going to be under that tree, and you've got that sense of, oh, it's so exciting. And when you open it up, you're like, oh yeah, that's everything that I've ever wanted. That's what this is. Except that won't last very long. This lasts forever. This is your eternity. This is you. Forever, infinitely, amazingly, forever and ever and ever, you find that. And then the rest of it is just kind of like on the outskirts of it someplace. It's like, oh, that's nice. Thank you. I love driving that little green soul. It makes me happy. But it doesn't mean that it's me. It's not an extension of me. It's just a part of what I've created. It's a part of my creation. If I choose to change that creation, then it'll be something else, but it won't last forever. It won't last forever. The only thing that lasts forever is me, in this sense of everythingness that's inside of me. Make sense? Come on, really? No one can't live out there with Lamborghini. Lisa, you're funny. Hi, Angel. Yes. Hi, Rachel. I think I've seen everybody that popped in here. You guys are sneaking. I get on a roll and I miss you. Hi, Tammy. Lauren's been very talkative. It's nice to see you, Suzanne. So nice to see you guys today. Sometimes I think I've put it too far. So whatever, I'll sit here and talk to myself. I'm good at talking to myself anyway. So I hope that you heard me. Sometimes I get rambling. I don't want to make it go on any longer. I want you to know that everything that you want, everything that you need, everything that you've ever needed, everything, all of it, even the Lamborghini, exists inside of you. They're a part of who you are. They're a part of the truth of who you are. And there's nothing that's actually out of reach. That if that Lamborghini is what you really want, then feel yourself. Smell it. See yourself in it, Lisa. And sit there in stillness. Sit there in stillness and allow your higher self that opportunity to let you feel what it's like going 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, wind in your hair, smelling the leather from the seats, feeling the smoothness. It's almost like you're barely moving. It's going so fast, but it's so smooth. You know, put yourself in that space. Let yourself enjoy what it feels like to have that Lamborghini wrapped around you from that imagination station that's inside of you. Because you can go and be anywhere you want to be at any given moment when you allow yourself. So put yourself there. The fun part of that is there really is an after effect. When we really, really give our energy to something that we really long for. I long for these absolutely pure, beautiful blue seas, clean air, fresh water, no more pollution, no more hunger. I long for those things. And when I go into that stillness, I just want to feel that sense of peace, like everyone on the planet is okay. Like there's no more disease. There's no more judgment. There's no more unrest. We all accept each other for who we are. Even though we think differently, we find how beautiful it is to have those different viewpoints again. We go, oh, that's interesting. I like the way you look at that. Instead of being like, oh, you're different than me, we go, oh, wow, interesting. Tell me more about it. I'd really like to hear how you see the world. Wouldn't that be a much better world to live in? So that's where I tend to spend a lot of my time when I'm visualizing these days. I want a world where we find peace again. Connectivity. We realize that we're all connected. No more. I have this problem lately. I don't know if you guys are feeling it too. It's not really a problem. It's just something that brings me unrest. And I have to use the word in conversation because it's just a part of conversation. And there's nothing that can, I don't know how to change it. But I don't like the word I. When I hear people say the word I, something in me says there's something wrong with that. It should be we. My kid downstairs is choosing not to be a gender. And I have to get used to whole different pronouns. They, that person down there. And I think that is coming into play with me too. Not in a gender way, but in a connectivity way, a oneness. When I say I, it means I'm single by myself. And none of us is actually single by ourselves. We've just forgotten that we're connected. So that's where that unrest comes from. It's not a sense of we don't have to sit around and think that we're all by ourselves anymore. We're all connected. And there's a cord between us that is so beautiful. and we can come back together. I think that's why it hurts me, because that separateness is what's causing all the unrest in the world, that we've forgotten how important we are to each other. So anyway, that's all I got today. I could sit here and talk all day, you poor people. What does that say? Road rager. That's not what that says. Isabel, nice to see you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad you guys popped in. I'm sorry that I never seem to figure out how to get here at a certain time. I really have to wait till the energy's right. And like I said at the beginning, I've been feeling a lot of need to be in stillness. I need that time to just, I don't even talk. I don't ask for anything. I'll clear the energy first. Okay, Archangel Michael, protect me in this because I'm going deep. I might do that. But then I just close my eyes and I sit there and I let this meditation music take me to wherever it wants to take me. And it's such a beautiful thing to do that. And so I think that we are being pulled into that. It's like being pulled to it's not a meeting, but we're being pulled into that time of stillness so that our higher self, so the angels, so that the guides, so that we can receive this energy, and it doesn't come to us in the way that we would think it would. It doesn't necessarily come in pictures and sounds and words and all that. It comes to us in just this overwhelming sense of stillness and power. That word just came to me. Thank you. That's where you find your power, is in the stillness. I know when it's angels talking, because I feel it coming right up and it makes me want to cry. Thank you for that word. That's where you'll find your power again. You've given it away. You've been giving away your power your whole life, but you find it again in your stillness. Hi, Marianne. So why don't we go into stillness together? I want you to see if you can find your power today, that inner power inside of you. That very, very peaceful place of just presence. Who am I? Who am I? And can I just be still without thinking I've got to do or think or say anything? But I'll just be for a few minutes. So let me take you to a place of beingness. So we are perfectly grounded. We can feel our energy through our feet. We feel that earth as our roots go deep down in. And we're just going to sit in it for a minute, okay? So I want you to just sit there. I would like you, I think we tried this yesterday too. I can't remember what day I did this. But I would like you to feel your center right around the solar plexus, between the heart and the solar plexus. I would like for you to feel the energy that exists there. And I would love for the angels to come in and gather around you and help you to feel. Calling in your higher selves if you're so willing. Look up a little bit. They're right there. That's what I do. When I'm connecting to my higher self, I'm like, oh, there you are. I know she's right there, waiting. And I just draw that energy in. So I take a big breath. And I feel myself fall right into that center. And it's this sense of overwhelming love that falls right into the middle of your being. Wow, what is all that energy going to the throat? Whose is that? Beautiful. So once you get yourself there, that's when you can push that energy around if you like to. You can even, if you've got a place in your body that's not well, that's hurting, sad, you just take some of this beautiful energy and you push it to that space. And suddenly it's like, oh, I feel better. It brings me to tears, feeling the energy of you. If you can't feel it, look at my reaction. I'm sitting here with all of your higher selves in this beautiful space together, and you bring me to tears. If you could only see, if you could only feel just a tiny taste of who you really are, just just a little bit. Pushing some of that energy right back at you. If you just kind of take down that wall for a second, if you're willing, it's completely safe. I always call in Archangel Michael to protect us. We're completely safe. You just let some of that energy, share it amongst yourselves. I can see you together, your higher selves greeting each other, just throwing your arms around each other. Oh, there you are. A big gathering, family reunion of souls. I'm so glad, Marianne. Keep feeling that. It's building. It's building right in the solar plexus right now. Just an influx of energy to remind you of your own power. None of that's going around you holds any power over you. Nobody holds any power over you. Nobody does. You can come back to this beautiful center anytime you like. Reclaim it. Look around you. They don't matter. It's not really you. It's all a game we're playing. When you come from that place, the reactivity goes out the window. You just don't even care. You guys have your negative reaction. Have your little party out there playing in that negative energy. It's okay. It's okay. I understand, but I don't want to play. I'm not going to play that game anymore. And you just sit there and you pull yourself back into this place of center. They don't even know you're doing it. They're wondering why you're sitting there with that blissful look on your face. Because we've just found our bliss. We found our joy, our true selves. It's so beautiful. It's just a perfect place to be. And you can come here anytime you like. So let's have a little fun with it. We're perfectly planted. And so we're sitting here. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who's watching. Your imagination can take you to your happiest place. With Lisa, she's going to go sit in that Lamborghini. I just know it. Where is your happy place? We all have one. Some of us have many. Choose one to go to. I see a field of sunflowers for some of you. And some of you, I see a sunny beach. Then there's the trees and the forest. And the racy cars. Whatever you like best. I see somebody climbing as high as they can at a tree in the middle of a forest. They want to get right to the top of that tree. Look out over the mountains. Create your space. You get to create. You can start with absolutely nothing. You may be just standing there at the edge of an absolute void. There's nothing there. And imagine that when you step into that void, everything that you are, everything that you've ever experienced, everything that your higher self it can possibly ever come up with, it just comes into that space and suddenly it becomes alive. Garden of Eden, perfection, all around you. You see these plants that are growing food, and you see maybe a hammock from a tree or a tree swing that you can swing on. And there's little animals that are playing, and they're coming to greet you because they know that you are the one that created all of this beauty for them. It all comes from you, not from outside sources. They want you to know that this beauty, this bliss, your dreams, they are coming from inside, not from out there. You don't need to copy other people. They've all got their own. You got yours, and they're very important. And you spending time in this stillness, in this space of whatever it is that you're choosing to create is raising the vibration of the planet. Yes, I know you got to go to work and you got to pay your bills and you got to do all that stuff, and I know, but that's on the outside, and we still do that stuff. But for 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour or two for me, I want to go to this place. I want to be in stillness. Because I know that this is important. The most important job that I can do is to find this bliss and to sit in it. Imagine a job where all you have to do is get yourself to bliss and spend some time there. That's your job. So as you're floating around on that little blue, what am I seeing? It's like inside of a cave. Somebody's got some energy going too. I have to laugh because my body always reacts. My head starts spinning because there is energy going to the throat chakra, and your throat has been blocked. One of you, many of you maybe, your voice has been squelched. You haven't been able to speak. Not your truth. You might be speaking, but you're not telling your truth. You're afraid. But all of a sudden, that throat chakra started spinning, because so did my head. And I saw blue. Wide open. And as that opens up, the heart just lights right up. See yourself now. See yourself with all those chakras. You were stuck right there at the throat. Everything else was spinning up to the throat. The throat was all blocked up, and it stopped the energy from flowing all the way. So it just opened. So if you feel suddenly this head rush, the energy started going up into your third eye, and it's moving up through your crown now. I love when the angels come in and start doing some clearing while we're doing these exercises. You just suddenly relaxed enough to let that happen. Well done. That's what stillness brings. They know what you need. They know what to do about it. You don't need to tell them. You just need to relax and go to your bliss, and they will do the rest. Isn't that amazing? So there's lots of really beautiful energy up in the third eye right now. If you're noticing suddenly that the world is opening up to you and that you're feeling and seeing things that you've never experienced before, well done. Right up through the crown. And now I want you to see yourself stepping into that waterfall. Allow for this beautiful source energy, beautiful, overwhelming power to come down over your crown like the waterfall. It comes down and you feel it as it gets to the top of your head, opening up that crown, and it just pours right on around and through. So it's creating this sense of peace, a sense of just cleansing, washing away all negativity, clearing you right out. Inside and out, squeaky clean, filled with unconditional, beautiful, perfect love. I don't like the word unconditional. I'm trying to get rid of it, because unconditional means that there would ever be a condition to stop you from being loved perfectly. And there isn't. There isn't. It is just pure, beautiful, perfect. All the way down through. Take a big breath. Integrate all that energy. Pull it through every cell. Take it with you. You don't have to leave it behind when we walk out of this. You just keep it. Fill yourself right up with it. And everywhere you go, you're going to affect people around you. They're going to say, ooh, they're going to treat you different. They're going to feel your energy is just different. Why are you different? It's okay. Because I'm filled up with all of this bliss. Perfect. Well done, you guys. So as you come back up out of the water, you're wrapped up in a beautiful, big old warm, cushy towel. You know those really nice ones. They're huge. It's a bath blanket. And they're giving you just a big hug. I see each one of you with an angel or a loved one just getting a big hug, congratulating you, thanking you for this beautiful work that you're doing. Just accept that hug for a second. Just take it in. How beautiful. Nice. So nice. What a beautiful day. So I want you to begin to feel your feet on the earth again. Feel that energy coming back into your toes, wiggle them around, coming up your legs, all the way up to your spine. Taking a big breath, pulling it all in. Feeling your arms and your fingers and your face. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Thanking the angels and the guides and all the loved ones, Archangel Michael, for keeping us safe, and everyone that's come in today. All of you, your higher selves. What a reunion that was. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Lisa. Suzanne, you guys are awesome. I always appreciate you for popping in with me. I enjoy it. Your energy brings an even greater abundance of love, so I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with each other, for being here, for being so giving. Please take good care of yourselves. Today's Wednesday. I shall be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Wednesday, Thursday. That's how it usually works. My world, my reality is shifting, and I hope that you're feeling that too. We're shifting realities into a higher vibration. Keep on climbing up. Take good care of yourselves today. I love you so much. I will see you again tomorrow. Share this out if you want to share the bliss, okay? Take good care. Thank you, Lisa. I love you too, babe.